at Tracer, and
Yep.
that was what started it. So
Sure. So competing, basically, you want to perform a little bit better for your team,
mhm.
and you want to do better with what you're doing. Okay. And you were at the time of the forum were platinum. Where are you at right now?
Yes, I this morning I finally got back to Diamond 5. I just got back to Diamond
Congratulations.
5.
Congrats.
So
It must feel pretty good. And you said
yeah, it's
primarily
amazing.
Tracer. Is that still the case?
Yes, yes.
Okay, got it. So is there any other characters that you play alongside Tracer? Or is it like 99% Tracer?
It's 99% Tracer, but in Faceit League I played a lot of Symmetra,
Okay.
but that hasn't happened yet. We're not doing Faceit League this semester, so.
Okay, makes sense. So I want to get a better understanding of the flex DPS and some more in-depth understanding of specific heroes, Tracer, Sem mostly. Also macro team play things. I'm on a team. Tell me about your team situation right now.
As of right now, I'm on a new team with a bunch of lower ranked players. I might end up being like a bit of a coach for them, but the previous team I was on, I was one of the weaker leagues of the team, and we played a lot of brawl compositions, specifically with Ramatra.
Right.
That's why I spent a lot of time on Sim, and we had another Hitscan player who only played Hitscan. So I ended up playing a lot of Tracer whenever he played Ash on, like, I don't know, Flashpoint maps or whatever.
Got it. Okay.
And I only ever swapped off if it was like a Circuit Royale. I just could not play Circuit Royale Tracer, so I played
Yeah.
like Reaper.
Yeah, makes total sense. Okay. So you're kind of filling a similar role with the team that you're on right now then.
Yes, but I also end up playing a little bit of support, I can see, but I want to focus more on DPS.
Got it. Okay. Now, obviously, some of your playtime stuff you've updated, I'm sure, since then. What does your playtime look like right now? Ranked, all of that kind of stuff.
Almost entirely ranked. If I ever play quick play, it's with like a stack. I never play quick play solo, and I never play ranked as a group. I haven't really played a lot of the game recently, to be honest, because of Minecraft Server with the boys and also Marvel Rivals coming out.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, as long as your expectations kind of reflect the amount of time that you're putting in, then I think it shouldn't be really a problem at all.
Mhm.
So, with you moving forward, at least in the short term, what do you think your playtime commitment will be for solo queue ranked? What do you feel motivated to put in right now?
Uh, I mean, it kind of depends on how the semester's gonna go, but I'd like to put in, uh, outside of scrims, maybe like an hour or two outside of scrims, and we scrim like 2 hour blocks twice a week.
Okay, so you're getting on 4 hours of scrims per week, and then an hour or two. Is that daily,
And like,
or realistically, is that going to be like a couple days a week?
maybe like an hour a day, twice a week, but maybe more. It
Yeah,
depends. If
yeah.
our team ever ends up getting a little bit better and reuniting for Overwatch instead of Rivals, then yes, I want to focus on it more. But right now, because of just the new
Right.
team, I don't really want to focus on it
Understandable.
much.
So right now, I'm more of like right now, for lack of a better term, kind of coasting. Just kind of like, what can I do to clean
Yeah,
up the way that I'm practicing right now? I'm not like really going any crazy commitment, but depending on how things go, I can adjust.
exactly.
Yeah, it makes total sense to me. I think that's fair for right now. Just kind of like keeping an eye on things, and then we could definitely like learn some things that will apply to rivals as well. I think having an
Mhm.
idea of like how you're approaching things will be useful. Well, curious, what do you play in rivals?
Black Panther when I'm on DPS, if
Hmm.
not Winter Soldier. But if I play support, I'm a Cloak and Dagger player. I love that character.
Yeah, makes sense. Winter Soldier main. I mean, actually, like you're basically almost 3 for 3 with my mains, honestly.
Perfect.
I
Let's
like
go.
the cooldown management of Cloak and Dagger. The only reason I wouldn't consider
Yeah.
them a main is just I like mechanic thing. So I
Yep.
shoot. So it's a little dull, but I love the cooldown management. So yeah, a good taste.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's see here. I want to improve my mentality and I want to improve my understanding. So the understanding we'll get to in a second, but elaborate on mentality. Maybe that's changed since then. I know you talked about
Uh,
being the weakest linked with the team.
yeah. So, well, I guess for a while I felt like that, but during some scrimmages, like whenever we got dumpstered on by like a Masters 3 team, we were just getting super stressed out. I myself was getting tilted. I even rage quit from a
Oof.
scrim, which I got in trouble for.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Happens.
I really struggle against compositions that really burst kill me, and like whenever I play against a Doomfist or I get counter swapped, my mentality just kind of lowers. I spent this
Doomfist as
morning
a
trying to work on it,
tracer
but
or Doomfist as a Symmetra? Because those are two different things.
Doomfist as a tracer, not necessarily because I'm getting diffed or tracer just can't beat Doomfist, but more of I just see my teammates just get one tapped and die, and I can't do anything.
Okay,
Well,
makes
that's
sense.
a yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Um, okay, and then you said something else. Doomfist. Shoot, what else did you say? Or when you're getting countered,
Getting
right?
counter swapped,
All
yeah.
right, tell me about the
FD4.
counter swap. In what way is the counter swapping? Like, what kind of counter swapping?
Well, whenever I start popping off, and even that happened this morning when I was practicing, like the other team would almost always swap off of the characters they like playing to play Torb, Cass,
Is
Kiri,
this in ranked
Moira.
and scrims or both?
Mostly in ranked, in scrims
Got it.
occasionally, but not as much.
Sure, sure. So anytime you start to immediately dominate, you get counter swapped, and then you have to kind of deal with that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, I think that's just a reflection of like whenever you're performing well, you're kind of seen as the problem, and so everyone card focuses
Hmm.
on you. So the reality is that there is no way to fix that. To be honest with you, just
Yeah, no.
underperform or underperform quietly. But Tracer's a pretty visible character, and so I think where your pivot has to be is that your pivot has to be, can I still find satisfaction out of outbraining or outthinking or making these guys look stupid,
Hmm.
right? And so we could take a look at that. What has your thought process been? Have you? I'm sure like it gets boring getting counter swaps. I'm sure you've tried to be like, hey, can I change my mentality with this? And if so, how has that
Hmm.
gone?
Uh, so far really good. This morning, I got kind of what I was saying, and I started
Mm-hmm.
playing a lot more defensive, and I'm trying to focus on the aggressive but safe mentality when I'm playing.
Yeah,
And I could tell they were getting really tilted at me for just being a constant nuisance, and I just try and focus more on less getting kills and more getting cooldowns out,
yeah,
because then
yeah,
Chas
yeah.
can't do anything, Torb can't do anything, Break can't do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. I had one of those moments not too long ago. I was reviewing some of my hazard footage day before yesterday for part of my hazard guide. And one of the games that I chose to look at was one game where it was on Samoa, and I had two backliners basically sitting AFK in a choke waiting for me to do something. And I just sat and waited. And I'm just talking like 20, 30, 40 seconds of me just waiting and them waiting and me waiting and them waiting. And I'm like dying laughing because it's just like a 2-for-1 and their tank is dying and their DPS are dying and I'm just sitting
Mm.
there. But if you could find like some sort of like psychological satisfaction out of like, hey, I outbrained you, you're going to have to, like you said, not necessarily playing safer, but definitely playing smarter, right?
Mhm.
Then you're going to be good to go. But the question is, are you going to enjoy that? And I can't sit here and tell you that if you don't find that fun, that it's a skill issue. It just might not be that intellectually stimulating for you, right?
Mhm.
So you could still win, you can still climb. It's honestly just as easy, but you do have to. You do have to kind of adjust your expectations. I'm not going to tell you, oh, you should just be
Uh-huh.
popping off just as much when you're playing versus Torb Moira. It depends on what your definition of popping off is, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Keep at that. Keep, but I think that that's just kind of like, can I find satisfaction about that? And I think when we talk about understanding as well, I think knowing what you need to practice from like an objective standpoint, that might give you something to be thinking about besides, oh, frick, I have to hold this angle, just basically bait cooldowns, right? But
Mhm.
actually knowing what you need to be doing. Okay. So when you talk about understanding, is there anything that comes to mind, or is it just more of like a general, I'm not really sure, kind of a catch-all?
It's part of that, but given the conversation we just had, I feel like when it comes to baiting cooldowns,
Yeah.
um, I guess one thing I really struggle with is getting to the place to bait cooldowns and the right
Yes.
timing.
Yes. Yes.
Combining that all together is really hard. And what I find is if I'm too late, my team ends up dying. If I'm too early, I am just getting forced. And
Yeah.
trying to find a
Yeah.
balance there was really been killing me, especially in scrims. One thing that we talked about as a team was that my timing was really killing us in engages. And I've
Mhm.
gotten better at it, I think, but I still need to get better at it, and I don't really
Yeah,
know how.
sure, sure. It might. I'm curious. Like, you probably recognize that it was an issue, but like, what was causing your timing to be off? Was it just general obliviousness of like where your team was going, or just eagerness to always be doing something? Like, do you have any guesses, or what aspects of your timing have you tried to improve since you've had that conversation with your team?
It started with an eagerness, but also it kind of transformed once we started playing higher players into I want to focus. I need to get something done. I have to be doing something
Yeah,
always in,
yeah.
always in, and I just end up feeding.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I call it the Hottie effect personally because this is Hottie in 2021. I'm looking at the
Okay.
forum, and you were at London Spitfire. I don't know if you remember Hottie that season.
I do not know.
Okay, but he was a bit of an enter, right? He was probably our best player, to be honest with you. But he just had a tendency and a feeling like I have to kind of perform. I kind of have to carry this team. And just really through a lack of trust. And so what inevitably happened is that he broke all the rules. His timing was really bad. His staging was rushed. He was not aware of where we were or what we were positioned. So he entered a lot. We almost beat Dallas Fuel that year, which was crazy at the time.
Yeah,
And
wow.
we lost because he fed a lot. We lost a map that we should not have lost because, I mean, we ended up drawing the map because for like 4 minutes, he just kept feeding. And so, You know,
But
and that's not because he's stupid or bad, and we've all been there. But it's definitely a real cost. Feeling the need to perform usually means that you're going to throw. So, so okay. I mean, at least you're aware of that being an issue. And we'll talk about like kind of what you need to be looking for in the review. Remind me if we don't get to it, and I'll give you a quick crash course on it. Anything else with understanding? You talk about timing. You talk about getting to the right place to force those CDs, positioning, timing. I mean, that's the fundamentals right there. Anything else come to mind?
not at the moment, no.
Okay. Anything else before we get into gameplay here?
No, not really. I think we're ready for that.
Okay, let's get the gameplay then.
Okay, let me pull up some codes.
Okay.
I tried playing a lot today and yesterday just to try and like lose some games and figure out how to get better. But I ended up winning almost all my
it's
games.
fine. It's fine. It's fine. As long as it's a close game or
Okay.
a game where you had like some questions, that's all I really care about. I find
Okay.
the whole obsession with it has to be a loss to be unnecessary.
Okay. Let me put the code in chat here.
Okay,
There we go.
got it. Do you have any scrim codes as well?
No, we haven't scrimmed since like Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Once basically ended, we kind of just paused.
Yep, that's fine then. We can still talk about stuff because I think the differences between scrimmage play and ranked play is almost negligible. The only major difference is the compositions that you're playing generally will probably be less flanky. You'll probably be taking more short off angles and pressuring because people scrim brawl comps. Like people just like in the West, they just like brawl comps, you know? So you're
Yeah.
going to be kind of, but it's the same concepts, right? It's not like the game changes. It's just you're less likely to run into Hazard, Juno, Lucio, or whatever in ranked than you are in scrims. Okay, so fundamentals of Tracer, take short off angle, shoot from angle at the same time as your team. And then the mechanical requirement is to put out as much damage as possible while taking as little damage as possible. And that comes from number one, your ability to shoot with your gun. And then number two is the ability to move your basically your hitbox, right? Like be able to blink, recall, manage cover, and so on. And that's really all there is to it. And there's lots of little things you can break down each of those categories. Later timing is better if you're on a greedier angle. Deeper flanks better when you have a more fragile backline and or the map allows you to. Shorter off angle is better if you outrange the enemy tank because you could just kind of poke him from an angle or if the map doesn't allow you to. When we talk about shooting gun mechanics, that might be a little bit of trigger discipline or crosshair placement, or it might just be you're bad at tracking. The movement is very much can you move from cover to cover, staging in different angles, and then also just juking, right? Like you force cooldowns by using your blinks. But like that's just like the crash course of how you do it. But the actual execution for Tracer can be quite difficult, right? Like it's very simple character in terms of how it's executed, but actually doing those things can be very, very complicated. So we'll talk about it. I like the deep flank here. It's fine. The
I
problem
wanted to try and wait for their Hanzo to Genji go forward here. And I think I didn't do that.
I don't think it's a problem. It's like it's a risk that you took. The problem here is actually slightly different, where you go for the blink here in melee, and then you don't quite get the finish. So you go for a greedy play, and you didn't finish it off. I don't have any problem with this, though. The only thing I would say here is where if you wanted to min-max this and you want it to be really, really safe, because we all know that you're going to recall back to that angle, right? So then why not blink? You get what I'm saying? You might as well. You don't need two blinks because you're just going to recall back to the angle. So then all you need to do here is blink through her, or even simpler, blink to the side.
Okay.
Yeah, or even blink to the side. Blinking through her throws off her aim more and throws off your aim more, so it's high risk, high reward. Blinking to the side throws off your aim less and throws off her aim less, but because you really only need a couple more bullets here, it's probably fine to blink to the side. That's it.
Okay.
But yeah, beyond that, I mean, you went for a high risk play. I think that the reward was there and you just failed. That's pretty much all there is to it. Sometimes it's just not that deep.
Okay.
Okay, so this is where we kind of have a really interesting question here. This is a short range off angle because you have teammates on main, okay? And you have teammates deep left. So this is technically an off angle, right? The question here is this the most effective off angle that you can get to quickly? And I think for this tank, the answer is no. This tank could poke you out too easily in a small room. Okay, but this is not doesn't mean that this flank is bad. It just doesn't quite work out so well right now. So given the state of the fight and that you kind of feel the urgency to apply pressure now, what's the best angle that you could probably take? Let's say you don't know that the Hanzo's here. Okay, so that you're totally blind. You're starting here. Where do you go? You got teammates pressuring here, so this is not an off angle. Maybe you could deepen from here. What do you think?
I guess my first thought would be to deepen on the left side with the stairs.
Okay,
Because
so start here and then rotate here. What's the problem with this angle with the setup that they actually have? You didn't know this, but what's the problem with that setup?
It's too far away for me to get any pressure
Correct.
on the Hanzo.
It's too far, right? If the Hanzo was on the floor, it would be fine. But obviously, as people get better at the game, they're going to be taking space and contesting you. So this doesn't work. Okay, so you could start here and you go, oh crud, Hanzo's not there. And this is where you should probably anticipate this not working because you know that whatever you do, there's probably going to be somebody far away. It's going to involve using blinks. It's not a bad angle, but it's just not the best. Okay, give me another option.
I guess if we're going on the assumption that the Hanzo's, I don't know where the Hanzo is, I'd probably be stairs right side.
Yeah, stairs here. Now, so shooting the tank from an angle here, you see Hanzo. Hanzo looks at you. What's the next step?
I'm thinking of two things. Like one would be just blinking across and trying to 1v1 him, or just blinking to like that barrel thing on the right.
So you're blinking to this angle instead. Okay. Is this a short range off angle? Yes. Does it provide you cover? Yes.
Yes.
I think this is probably your best option. I think you could also sit here and you could charge your 3 blinks and go 1 blink, 2 blink, and set up your deep angle here. This would also be an option. Heck, you could do the same thing here and wrap around this side if you wanted to from the barrel. This would allow you to get closer to the Hanzo once you had information. But I like those options. Yep, I like those options. And notice that we're not really forcing a target here, right? Like we're not going for the Hanzo because we have to, because we want to kill Hanzo because he's on their team. He's just in the way, right? He's in the way of the angle we want to go. And then you've also said that like, oh, if I go here, well, I can just shoot the Sigma. And you're right, absolutely. The reason I don't like going for Sigma here is not because Sigma bad target to shoot. It's just that this angle doesn't feel that good, right? You're kind of just getting poked out. You see that?
You're a real lifesaver.
Yep. He leaves. You fill. Very good. And now you could just kind of keep shooting here. It doesn't feel all that good, but that's because 4 people are looking at you, right? But the angle itself is totally fine. I mean, you're like, this feels really awkward. Well, let me give you an example of why. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why it doesn't feel good. Okay, but in reality, you can live with that all day. Good rotation. They're too far away now, so you need to back out and find your next angle. Totally fine. This is fine.
I kind of greeted on this guy, which might have been bad, but
It's the same thing as the first play. It's kind of bad, but you saw an opportunity where he's 1 HP. Your call, right? But then as soon as it's no longer an actual opportunity, then bail. And you bailed. So I'm fine with it. Now, this is the interesting question. You have set up on this angle here, okay? Now, you could have argued, oh, well, you should have played patiently here and let them come in, or maybe you could have committed the flank here and lived back here, higher risk, higher reward, but you didn't. And I think where you're at is fine. So the question is what can you do with the position that you have?
probably pepper the tank. Maybe force out a CD and then go for backline.
Sure. Could pepper the tank. What else can you do?
That Ana looks great. Or I guess I could wrap around, but
why not?
I'm kind of concerned that might take too long.
It not at all. You're already here.
Really?
Use one blink and then another blink if you need to, and then you got the angle here.
Okay.
Now, am I saying this because Tracer has to flank and you can't short range off angle? No. But you chose this angle and just use what the angle provides. That's it.
Okay.
Like, I want you to focus on taking an angle and then do what that angle gives you, right?
Okay.
That's it. So I don't hate this here. This is okay. But ultimately, it doesn't feel as convenient, right? It feels a bit awkward. Now, I like this. This is good. You wrap around behind. You're going to need a blink. Where's the next blink, though, is a question. Really, really bad, right? So your next blink here needs to be to cover, okay? Where's your choices of cover?
Backwards to the left.
Or?
Or. Maybe to the Mega on the right.
Full
the mega
commit
on the right?
right, full commit right, exactly. Blink out here, just full commit. It has to be all the way, right? Either full left or full right. I think left obviously feels a bit better because it allows you to stay on that angle, but honestly, either one. You no half measures. This is a half measure, right? You're not blinking through her. You're not blinking to cover, so I don't know really why you're blinking. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say this was literally useless. Of course it was useful. You kind of went to the side, but this isn't enough. This is not enough. You need to actually go, okay, I'm here, I'm blinking all the way to cover, or I'm making her do a 180. There's no in between.
Okay. Should I be planning that out before I'm like the second I blink to the Ana?
Yes.
Should I be like, okay, where's my safe spot?
Because whenever you blink through somebody, you should almost always be thinking, what's my next corner? What's my next cover? Like people always ask me, what's the balance between cover and using my blinks to dodge? And the answer is you should kind of have both in your mind at the same time. Now, I don't expect you to have both in the same time all the time because you're Diamond 5, okay? But that should be the goal. Okay, that should be the goal. When I wrap here, I'm already thinking, where's my long-term hold here? Am I holding here or am I holding here, right? And if you don't know the answer to that, then that's kind of like the next step for you. Because I actually think that the way that you blink here in terms of reacting to where she's looking is pretty good. That's a good execution of blinks here, but it's not perfect. And that's what we want, right? We want you to practice, number one, reacting to enemy team's attention, and number two, blinking around what the map gives you, using cover. And I think you need to practice both of those individually and then occasionally try to practice both at the same time.
Okay.
So I'm not going to say this is a bad blink. It just wasn't perfect. Good. Nice job. It's okay. I mean, you just didn't quite. Did you get to the Mega or did you just get murked?
I think I did. I just got murked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damage.
But this is kind of where I'm talking about. Like, you need to have an end goal in mind. That being said, again, I can't say that what you did was bad. You created a lot of space. You got a pick, and I think your team should win this now. Yeah. So you're actually tanking for your Doomfist there. By the way, we talk about tanking. With Tracer, you always have the capability of going first if you'd like to. Sometimes your position can allow that, right? I don't always recommend it, but if you can live a long time on an angle and you're going, and as long as your team can follow up, it's okay.
Okay.
This is fine. I don't mind this either. This is what your angle allows you to do, right? And the reason you did that was because of your Doomfist, right? So you're like, I need to be doing something. My Doomfist is doing something. I'm going to push on the angle that I have. Notice at how you pushed as well. You didn't just push the Genji. You had an end goal in mind, right? Where was that end goal?
I guess my angle was just blinking, killing him, and then just waiting there on that angle.
But more than that, you see where you blinked to?
Yeah, covered.
You had a position in mind, right? You knew that I couldn't just stand in the open there with the Sojourn there. Now, you may have not consciously thought about it, but you clearly had this in the back of your mind. So then, you know, when you fail the kill, it's still fine. You still created a lot of pressure and a lot of space, and you went at the same time as your Doomfist. This is really good. This is really good.
Okay.
Yep. And then just go back to where you were. I think you need to trust yourself. You did a good job. You backed off. Go take the angle that you're given, right? Go back top again, right? Don't hesitate.
Okay.
There's no reason for you to be doing this here when you could have already been rotating here and gone for here. This is a short range off angle. We've already established this doesn't feel all that great, and you have pulse bomb, so you can start to go for those higher risk, higher reward plays.
Okay.
I don't hate this. Let me be very clear. I just don't know if this is optimal.
Okay.
But hey, you know what? You were on a short range off angle, so I can't hate it. High risk, high reward. I get it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie with you. It's not a surprise to me that you hit Diamond 5 today. This has looked quite solid.
Okay.
You've done a good job. You've done a good job with your positioning for the most part. Not perfect, but you've done a good job.
Okay.
I like the patience here. Now, you can ask yourself, if I feel like my team is doing something and I'm not doing something, again, what does this angle provide?
Nothing really.
Okay. Are you sure? Look carefully. You see it?
I mean, are you talking about like the Tracer where I'm standing right now, or do you think I should be rotating to deepen? Is that what you mean?
Well, that's the question, right? That's the question.
I mean, I probably should be deepening here.
I probably should be. Why?
It takes fluxing and...
That's it. Well, before even that, before the flux, right? What do you see?
No sleep.
Right? No sleep. No sleep. But even simpler than that. Here's a question: what do you not see?
My Doomfist?
Your Doomfist. Where the frick is your Doomfist?
Oh, my Doomfist is in their back line.
You
Isn't
get
it?
what I'm saying? So there's a reason that your Hanzo's doing this. It's because of your Doomfist
Okay.
fighting. So this is where your timing whiffs. You were honestly such a Chad with what you did here because you saw your Doomfist end and you've made it work. Like, this is really uncomfortable, but you made it work, and you were really smart with it too. I need that same level of effort from you here with what this angle provides, which is a deep flank, which is, hey, my Doomfist is probably dead, but maybe I can get a trade off of this, right? Maybe? Because there's nothing to do right now, literally besides shooting Sigma Shield.
Heroes never die.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to point out a little bit of some of your blinking as well. So this is, again, a very awkward spot here. But do you see how some of the blinking is awkward? Not in terms of her attention, but what's the end goal here? Where do you need to be? You get what I'm saying? It's not an easy
right
answer
now-
here.
I think the two places I can go for safety would be kind of like that bus side like before, or back to where, like, underneath.
Yeah, underneath, bus
I
side,
might be
wrap
able
around
to-
towards their spawn. Yeah, but you kind of see, like, that question has to be answered here. So, because as you're blinking around, let's face it, mate, you're dead, right? Like, if you don't, even if you do kill this on it, there's really nowhere for you to go. So I can tell, I don't know if this for sure, but you tell me, it looks like you're really trying to practice your blinks in regards to where she's looking.
Yes, I've been practicing that a lot. Even
I
in Vexta.
can tell. It's good. It looks really nice. You keep up the good work. But I think this needs to be balanced with some games where you're practicing that and some games where you're thinking about where are my rotations to cover, right? So when I go from here, I should have already been on backline, but okay, I'm stuck here. I need to get to here, or I need to get to here, or I need to get to here, and then go from there. And then what you do is you leave your cover with your blinks, and then you go back to the cover. Okay, so you leave the cover with your recall, you leave the cover with your blinks, but then you find a way to anchor back in that spot. Okay, and sometimes you might leave it entirely. Like, for example, here when you went for the Genji, right? But you anchored back here. Remember, you chose this as your new anchor, right? So I always want you to be using your blinks, be using your recall, and so on from a position where, like, okay, I know that I can go back there and kind of wait for my resources again, because there's nowhere for you to go here. Even if you don't get slept, you're dead.
Yeah.
30 seconds remaining.
Nice. And it was worth the gamble, to be honest with you.
I thought this was touching. I even calmed it too.
Yeah, I mean, I see the vision. You're not going to win without your Mercy there, so.
Just in time.
Okay. I don't know how you live there, but we'll take it. So, I mean, this kind of answers my question, right? So, like, you're about to have your recall, you're about to have your blinks, and you're going to do pressure. Where's your anchor angle here? Like, where are you actually applying pressure from? Just globally, largely.
Applying pressure from?
Yeah.
Here is okay. I think it could be better, but I think maybe the high ground at the very top of the screen would be probably really good.
I think just generally this area here, this is going to be kind of your spot, okay? So are you going to leave this position? Yes, probably. But are you going to want to recall back to this position or blink back to this position at some point? The answer is probably yes. And if you do drop to the floor and commit to the floor, you notice kind of like how you feel naked, right? Where's going to be your anchor spot here? Well, you need to know that, right? I'm going to blink around, but ultimately I kind of want to end up here, or I kind of want to end up here, or I kind of want to end up in here. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? So when you do commit to this, you do need to know, like, okay, if I don't have anything to shoot and I want to, honestly, you could have shot that here. I think you're waiting for your doom.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be stealthy. And...
Yeah. Listen, I respect the discipline, honestly. It's fine. Do you see what you're doing here? Pressuring, blinking, recall back to ankle, go back. And then you're still here. And then if they push you, do you see how uncomfortable this is for them, right? This is good. Okay, so then you pivot your anchor, and you're going to go bottom. I'm okay with this. This is good.
Time to drop the ball.
Sure. Let's see what you do.
Back we go.
Okay, I'm going to coach this a little bit more micro-wise. I think the recall is fine. Let me look at the blinks here. So Sojourn's chasing. To be honest with you, mate, pulse the Sojourn. Here's why.
The Sojourn.
Anybody
Oh,
that's did you not know?
Maybe I did it in the time, but as of watching this right now, I did not know that she dropped. Or maybe she did.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, the rule is this: is like anything that's chasing you or fighting you is always your number one priority. Not necessarily for pole spawn, but just in general. just because she's going to be the person that's going to kill you, or she's the easiest person to kill usually, because she's the one that's actually putting attention on you. So there's a real risk here that, like, you know, as you're going for this pulse bomb, this is who kills you. You get what I'm saying? So just a general rule, but the pulse itself is probably fine. I think did you blink in and out and then decide to recall?
I hope not. I did.
Yeah. That's okay. You just need to choose, right? You just need to choose, right? You need to choose, am I going to use both blinks or am I going to use my recall? One or the other. That being said, do you notice that you're back on the anchor? So
Yes.
odds are you're probably going to live here. Odds are that you're going to get a lot of attention, and odds are that the Sigma's going to die. And there it is, right? So that's a good play. That's a good play from you. Risky. I mean, this is okay. So let me give you the best insult that I can come up with. All right. This fight right here is Spylo Tracer gameplay. You messed up your blinks. You missed the pulse bomb. You blinked a little awkwardly with the Sojourn, but the positioning was correct and the spirit was there. Okay. And then you also timed things relatively well, which is why the kill feed looks like it does. Okay. So it's an insult, but it's also a compliment, okay? Like you did the boring stuff correctly. Now, this is really important. Be very careful about what you do right now. Just be very careful. I know your Doomfist is up, I know you're up, but you need to be very cautious about that. Doesn't mean you shouldn't shoot, just be careful. But yeah, I mean, legitimately, more good to say about that than bad. He's behind you.
Yeah, I got so greedy here. Okay,
That's all
don't
right.
look at this. Don't look at this. Don't look at this.
Well, okay. If you live here, you're going to be a real nuisance, right? Because let's be honest, like, you have cover here, you have a health pack.
You're nuts.
Okay, well, never mind.
Yeah, that-
I took that one way too seriously. Yeah.
I think we still lose this, but
Anchor spot. Good target swap there. Good trigger discipline there as well. Yeah, I mean, silliness is silliness. But honestly, the actual fight itself wasn't too bad from you. But
Okay.
yeah. Quiet. Oh no. Oh gosh, I don't know.
Not proud of that one.
This just isn't a good pulse. Even if you hit it, there's just nothing happening, right? Like, your team is backing off. You hit this pulse. I mean, so what? You know, like, the spawn's right there. And then again, you got to be thinking, what's my next step, right? Because you can't recall back to this angle anymore. You need to get out of here. So yeah, it just wasn't a good play. Sure. Get her out. Go for the kill. Recall back. You didn't quite get it. That's okay. I don't like this, though. I know you don't have recall, but go right back to that angle and just play it cautiously. Is this close? Okay. Is this a short range off angle? Absolutely not. Not even close. Not at all. Not at all. Go back. Go back and do this. Play patty cake with this guy. It's totally worth it.
Okay.
It feels like your fundamentals have gone out the window just because the map got a little bit uncomfortable, right?
That happens a lot.
Right? And it's understandable, right? It's understandable because you're even looking at this and like, I don't get poked. I'm not shooting shield. I'm shooting diva, but it's still bad, right? Like, you need to use your mobility to apply pressure from underneath here, or to have rotated to top and gone for pressure from here. Those are your positional options. If you do want to go left here, then you need to full commit and get into this room. This is useless. This is absolutely useless. You're doing no damage. You're providing zero threat. And you're basically just playing keep away and pray that I don't get shot by the enemy team. This is better. This is greedy, but you're going to force attention. You're going to force resources. Yep. There you go. Shocker. Angle works. It wasn't comfortable. It probably wasn't even necessary to take a flank versus this composition because you could just poke out from a soft angle, but this is still fine.
Okay.
Yeah, good stuff. The reason I don't like this is because where's your escape route?
Okay.
You get what I'm
it's
saying?
technically on the right, but it's not good.
It's not good. It's too open. It's too naked. And it's an escape route that runs right back to the backline of your team, which doesn't allow you to set up your next angle easier. High ground's going to be better here, or even playing through Mega is going to be better here because there's more choices. There's more options.
Okay.
That being said, please stop this Mercy. She keeps giving you away. I like the response to your Doomfist. It's good. This is good.
Yeah, we were calming at this point in the game, so.
Heroes never die.
Do you notice how you just pivoted your anchor?
Yes.
This was horrendous mechanically, but I can tell you're but it's not easy to do what you're doing, right? And you're sweating, and this is good. Seriously, this is good. This is really good. I want you to look at the resource trade. In fact, look at what happens here. So Moira goes for you. Genji goes for you. Moira decides, I give up. I'm going DPS Moira. You got 1, 2, 3 resources. They're still chasing you. Disruptor shots being used. There's cooldowns being used. Ana's still looking at Sojourn. Meanwhile, look at D.Va's HP.
Oh my gosh. Where'd it go?
Okay. And this is 4v5, I want to remind you. The best part about this as well is look at your resources.
Yeah, I got everything.
You're back in. The only thing here is I think the Sojourn catches you off guard. But hey, it's okay. No harm done. We're back on the angle. Yeah, and then now you're still staged, right? You're still staged. To be honest with you, I probably just would have chilled and gone a little bit later.
Okay.
I think a trade there would... Honestly, though, I think that's a bit hindsight. Like, if you kill this on it, there's no res. That would help your team walk out of spawn easier. So I think... And your Doomfist was kind of distracting there. This is okay. Just don't die. Please don't die, whatever you do, because they will push you.
I think I die here.
You needed to hold high ground. You needed to back off if you could and just try to, like, play scamp.
Okay.
But this is not... that's okay. That's just a bit of greed because you saw the mini.
I tried to blink.
Honestly, if this was your resume, like, especially, like, this is good stuff. Like, this is really good. Starting from... Not there. But starting from, like, right here-ish, it's not the best angle choice, but you played good Overwatch, mate. You played good Overwatch. You did a good job. You baited resources. You lived for a long time. The only promise is that you just got to hit the pulse bomb. You know, you just have to hit the pulse bomb, and then preferably would have preferred you to stay up top. But, like, you're doing a good job managing attention. I can really tell the sweat and the effort that you've been putting into your blink usage. You should have zero shame with how that last fight went. Well done.
Okay.
Couple questions here were, with your emphasis on blinks to dodge shots, are you sometimes putting yourself into the open for too long? That's a detail to look at. Pulse bomb's got to land, right? What are you, 0 for 5 here, 0 for 4?
Yeah,
right?
Not great.
You know, some of them have been good, some of them have been, like, not good. And then finally, I think I've only really got the one fight to nitpick your positioning, but I do think that fight was important. The first fight on third was really, really poorly done from you. Okay, any questions so far?
No, we're good.
Okay, let's keep going. I really like the effort that you're putting into blinks and duels. It's really showing, and I actually think your positioning has been decent, all things considered. We're not expecting perfect positioning from Diamond 5 gameplay here, right? You have the right idea. Can't obviously know what the intention is here. I think it's fine. Deep right. Go.
Yeah, we were trying to call out going for...
Yeah, this is a mistake. This is a mistake. Toxic team play. Toxic team play.
Yeah.
Because this is just not the play for you. Why?
Uses too many blinks.
See, that's it. That's it right there. Now, you didn't know the Kiriko was there, but the reality is you don't need to. This angle is designed to get you to this angle, which is then decided to get allows you to get to here, or then allows you to get to here. But if you cheat the system and cut the hypotenuse, okay, that's the longest distance, right? That's a long distance for you to cover, right? You need value here. Even if the Kiriko's not here, set up earlier here and then follow up with a dive from here. So reality is, if your plan was to go for the Junkrat or whatever, Sojourn, then you should have already been moving forward onto that angle and then committed from here.
Okay.
Going all the way back to first point defense. Why don't I want to contest a Hanzo from here? Because it's too freaking far, right? Like, if you can avoid it, set up. That also means that you can actually do damage earlier, right? Like, your team is kind of fighting right now, right? So, like, you need to be there sooner. But this sucks.
Yeah.
Take an angle and do what's convenient from that angle, which means maybe not shooting the same target. This is not it. This is not it. What's next?
I shoot this fuck up too much. Flanking around, right?
You're flanking around, or you could, if anything, shoot the D.Va.
Okay.
Because she's closer. Right? You do actual damage.
Yeah, I don't have to use blinks either.
And then you get pincered again.
Yeah.
All right. So now you're not at a disadvantage in that duel, but you're not as much of an advantage in that duel. Let's just put this from the overhead and see what could have happened. You see it? That's your fault. That
yeah.
Sojourn takes that angle for free, and you almost die to it, or your team almost dies to it. That's your fault. In addition, if the Sojourn had not taken the angle, pulling Kiriko resources would have been more damage than what you would have done to the Junkrat, because the Junkrat was too far away. Right? Do what your angle provides. If you don't like what your angle provides, then the problem is not your target selection. The problem is your positioning.
Yeah.
Sure. Nice clip. Like let's just admire this. She's jumping, to be fair. You pause your clip, you reline your crosshair, you follow her down. You pause for a second. I think you pause the reload because she starts to move unpredictably, but regardless, like, I mean, that's good stuff.
Okay.
That's greed, but I get it. She was low. Next step, where should you be?
Okay, well, my thought here was I was going to try and 3-card to try and cap, but...
Not gonna happen.
If they can... Not going to happen? Okay.
Not gonna happen. Not with a diva. Not with your Doomfist dead. You gotta win the fight.
Okay. Options... I guess either go high ground and try and contest the high ground
Too far.
above the Juggernaut sign.
Takes
Okay.
too long. Takes too
Then-
long. And also, if you think about it, this angle is very rarely the play unless it's totally abandoned because of this. Do you see how far away this is?
Yeah.
So
just-
it's situational, right? It's not always bad, but short range off angle. Like you got to be. This is like a Widowmaker play, essentially. Like if they're on Widow, you go for the triple blink one shot, right? But it's not great. Okay, so what's the more generic play with what you know? There's a couple of choices here, but what do you think?
Let's say I didn't blink back to cart. I'd probably try and blink underneath and try and take a position behind them on the first part or second point.
So you're actually saying I'm going to delay them by actually going into them and taking angles out here.
Yeah.
That's
something
fine.
like that.
Super risky, but I there's reward there. Sure. Give me a more conservative option too.
Underneath left side?
Sure. Could go over here. Just kind of hold the angle here. Hover here. You got good cover. You got a good anchor. Anything that walks out, you'll burn it from this angle here. Okay. The other option here is just here, right? Just
Just there?
sit here.
Okay.
Just sit here. Shoot tank. Shoot whatever comes out. It's fine. You got options. That's it.
Okay.
Now, obviously, you don't do that because you thought that you could cap. So we'll cut you some slack on that. But yeah, this is fine. This is fine. I mean, look, this is not an unbelievable amount of damage, but it's more damage than their backline's doing, right? Good job. It doesn't matter if you shoot tank or DPS. You're playing to your effective range. You're playing to your effective angle there. Good job rotating your anchor. I just would not take this duel because why?
I have no blinks, no recall.
That's it. That's
I'm half HP.
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just resources. That's it.
Yeah.
So just play.
I'm gonna be honest. I got a little frustrated here because I was calling for help in comms, and none of my supports helped me. But honestly, I think
Well, the question is just why are they not helping you?
because they shouldn't have to.
Well, I think part of it, they're just getting smoked. That's what you're basically down one and you're getting smoked. That's what's happening.
Okay.
Now, I think that your Zenyatta should have kept Orban you. So, but also they had Pharah to worry about. They had the Sojourn on cart, who really, to be honest with you, I think your Sojourn's the one that should have left cart. I think your Sojourn's the problem here. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to focus on yourself.
Yeah.
I think what's happening is you're talking about like how hard you're calming here, and then all of a sudden that calming leads to expectations. Those expectations lead to you breaking the rules of gameplay. You don't have. I don't care if you have Harmony Orb. You don't shoot that Sojourn there without a blink. She's just gonna rail your head, right? And so then there's expectations, and then you kind of forget how to play the character. Okay, you have all the information that you need. You've been on a ping, Sojourn pinged. Give me your options.
Okay. If I was thinking about it in time, I probably would like to wrap around right side and do
You
like
could.
the blink tech to high ground.
You could. Yep. This is all of a sudden very fine. Now you will get chased, but that's fine. We want that. That's perfect. Give me another option. Give me a more conservative option.
Plane underneath near the mega.
Like
It's too
here.
far, but
It's too far.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's too far, right?
Okay.
And so you could start from here and anchor here, but it just doesn't feel good. There's a much better, much safer option. Think positions, not targets. What areas of the map can you play around? Give me an anchor.
the water tower looking thing that the Kiriko's on.
Sure.
Maybe using that as a.
Sure, but that's basically what we just
Maybe
already said, right? So use this from
Yeah,
here to
okay.
here, okay? What about this?
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Just here, short range off angle. What are you going to shoot? I have no idea. Might be Sojourn, might be Diva. You even have cover from the Ana on high ground, right? You notice this? There's a reason why they put this here, right? It's for people like you, so that you could actually hold this space here. So I personally would play this one because I'm the type of guy to go for the honest angle, like even if it's just shooting tank and just apply pressure. But I liked your idea to go for the higher risk play here. There's options here. Let's see what you do.
How should I get to that cover? I'm assuming it shouldn't be blinks, right? Should I just try and
Oh
walk
no,
around
you definitely
and
can
be-
use blinks. You definitely can use blinks. You
Okay.
can always use blinks to reposition to another cover spot. Because if you think about it this way, when you were there's a very important moment in third point, if you remember, where you were like here and you went in, blah blah blah. Remember when you ended up here and you had one blink and yet they couldn't chase you? They couldn't punish you. Remember
Yeah.
that? And I pray because you just cover. They can't really chase you there. So it's the same thing here. If you were to literally double or triple blink here, it's not really something that they can punish that easily if it's timed well, and it is. You see it?
Okay.
So you're allowed to use blinks to reposition as long as you end-to-end cover. And sometimes you have to. Like right now, you don't have time to walk all the way around behind. You need to go now. So use your blinks to reposition and shoot. And I want to point out something that you go for the water tower, which was not my first choice, but dang, this looks pretty good, right? As long as you avoid that rail, you're good. I mean, you're trading on an angle. Where's this diva supposed to hide? And then not only that, but you actually have the opportunity to deepen on backline if you'd like to. I think this is a mistake. You ready for some crazy talk? Shoot
Okay.
the diva. Keep
Just
shooting the diva. Just shoot the diva. Shoot the diva. She's nanoed. I don't care. Shoot the diva. How the frick are you supposed to help this up here? You can't.
Yeah.
I appreciate the attempt, and I think the way that you did it was pretty smart, where you try to rotate underneath, but it's so uncomfortable, right? It's so far. Of course, you hit that one, of course. Like, you
I know.
hit that one.
That one's going in the montage.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good pulse. Good use of your blinks with it, too. Yeah, good stuff.
Okay.
It was uncomfortable to go left because you chose right first and then decided to bail on it last second, right? That's why it's so important to use what your angle gives you. Because if you go right and then go left, or you go left and you go right, we're talking about like double, triple blinks mid-fight, which is a big no-no. But at least you did end on cover, right? That's the thing. You blinked underneath and you had some form of cover. So, okay. This is fine. Sure. Timing here. Be very careful, right? There's no distractions for them right now, so. Sure. Again, very uncomfortable for them to chase you here. It's fine.
Is this a position where I should be waiting for my tank to get back before I make it?
You should just be waiting for a fight to start. You don't care about your tank. You don't care about your DPS. You don't care about your support. It doesn't matter. All that matters is if there's a fight going, right? And right now there's not a fight going, but it sounds like there's about to be. Like I would start repositioning right now. Yep, good stuff. Really, really good timing. This is just unlucky, to be honest with you. This is just like Farah caught you with the direct. You had your recall. It happens, but this is a good play.
It's go time.
If I wanted to be really nitpicky, we could talk about like how you're using the map here. So you could be like, I'm getting gate kept by the Sojourn. You can just like walk this way, and it's probably not something you think about, and then approach and take the angle here instead, just because it's a little bit easier.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you probably just forgot, but that's definitely
Yeah, I
something
did.
you can. Yeah, it happens. Like, because you're like, what am I supposed to do? Well, you do have to get out of here, right? But that's probably the easier way to get out. But the timing of it was fine. Sure. Go for the Kiri over the Zarya because both are close, so you can kind of pick your poison, right? And obviously go for the squishy when you can. Well, that was
I kind of just got blasted back here.
This one is just, again, like, I feels like you're kind of forcing resources a little bit, right? So you're only 83 HP here. I don't know. If I'm going to triple blink here, I know you're close to pulse, and I know you have recall, but I'm honestly wondering if I'm just going to blink my third blink and just get in here, right? And then, again, anchor from here. You kind of get what I'm saying? So, because ultimately you do recall back into their spawn again and then get slammed.
Okay.
Too far?
My priority should be my anchor point in that type of thing.
I think if you have to blink that far, yes, because it's not like you're going to legitimately duel that Sojourn with 0 blinks.
Yeah.
Because you had a triple blink to basically get to her, right? So then, I mean, yeah, at that point, you know, might as well just triple blink to get to a new position. Now, this is awkward. This is really hard. Because everything's so far. So you got to ask yourself, what do you have? Yeah, this is definitely the play, right? Definitely the play, right? What does the map give me? Yeah, definitely. Because what's your alternative, right? This is too far.
Okay, that's true.
You can't
So
touch
Jerry's too
anything
far.
from here. This is also too far. So you really have to play the perimeter, right? You have to play the perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you could have gone, well, I could have wrapped. Well, you couldn't because you died late. So you had to basically take as quickly as you possibly can. This is the play. And look what you're doing.
Oh, I lost the Ana. I thought she dropped.
But that's okay because you still get value. Ana's rotating away from you. Her angle's getting worse. You see this? You see this? Her angle's getting worse. She's controlling less space. Look at what she could do with an anti-nade and shots from this position now, right? But she doesn't have that position anymore. Your problem is you drop the chase. Honestly, if she drops and you're not confident, frick her. Just keep going. Just keep rotating. Maybe this is too far. Maybe you could use cover here. I don't know, but you got to be like, where's my short range off angle? I'm not gonna lie with you. This is not an easy solution for you, right? You kind of shot in the arena, and it feels like you have to run on the borders of the arena. But if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do.
Okay.
You can't put yourself in the middle there. You can't second guess yourself, right? Oh, that is cheeky. I will say that should have killed you right there.
Someone on our team was commenting that the Pharah was one, and so
I gotcha.
I
I gotcha.
waited there.
I gotcha. All right, I'll cut you some slack for that one then. To be honest, I'm not super pleased with the way this fight has gone. It feels a little bit like you're not sure what to do. We've already mentioned that you could kind of wrap around left because the Ana was there and they keep pursuing. But obviously that doesn't feel very good right now. So what's the solution? Can you find
I
an
don't like
anchor
where I
that
am,
gets you
but-
closer or at least on a better angle? Can you find an
Yes.
anchor?
It's
Where?
the mega towards the top of the screen.
So
That's
you
easy, like
like here?
kinda.
Like in this area here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. There's another one from your position right now that's not as good, but it's at least immediate.
The Jeep and like kind of underneath.
Yep.
Okay.
Somewhere here. It's not great. I'm not gonna lie with you, but you know what? It is 3 meters closer, and does force her to turn frickin' around. That's better than her turn to the side. This is better than nothing. You get here and you just live, and you shoot and you shoot and you shoot and you shoot and you shoot. See an opportunity, you blink in, blink through, recall back, shoot and you shoot and you shoot. Go grab mini, and you shoot and you shoot. You get what I'm saying? At least it's an angle. So when no good option, take best option. That rule. Okay.
Okay.
This is like we said, that paralysis, and you don't know what to do, and so you're doing nothing. You kind of get carried here.
Yeah, our Zen got play of the game right here, so.
I mean, yeah, this is sick. Probably on that ult shutdown. Okay. This is kind of another one of those choices where you're like, I don't know if I feel comfortable going top. I understand. So at least do something on an angle, right? You could tickle here. You could wrap here. You could clear high ground and go for the super deep play here, or you could go for this here. Let's see what you do.
Special delivery.
Where's your anchor? You're kind of on one now, but you know you're going to get pushed. Where's your
yeah.
anchor?
Either the mega or I could try and wrap around back to high ground.
I think that's the
You're
play.
right.
Yep, I think that's the play. Wrap around behind to right. And why is wrapping around high, if possible, better than going to mega?
It controls more space and
Controls
makes them
more
take out
space. That's it. Right. Exactly. This is not necessarily going to be safer for you going back towards your team. If you can live on backline or live on the angle, always choose living on the angle.
Okay.
Yeah, this is good. Like this it feels bad because of what happened in the kill feed. But again, I'm gonna give you the full context that you didn't have. You missed pole spawn, frick you. At least you got Suzu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
God.
Okay? And then why didn't you die? Because you anchored. You notice that? Like this wasn't perfect long term, but it was cover, right? You got your blink back. Oh, and by the way, you didn't recall either. So that was nice. 1, 2, 3. 3 are still looking at you. 3 are still looking at you. 3 are still looking at you. Okay, now it's just the 1. Like, if your team has to be able to win that. I think the main problem with this is the fact that I think it was your team trying to follow up off of your push. I think. So let me. I'm trying to just figure out why. Yeah.
So is it a timing thing?
It was kind of a timing thing. Yeah.
I'm just too early. Okay.
But I don't think that you should worry too much about it, because if you take an angle and you see an Ana that's just not looking at you, I mean, what are you gonna do? You know? It's not like your team is totally in spawn, right? They're kind of there, right? So again, this kind of goes back to the very first fight that we talked about, right? You took a risk, you whiffed. Go next. You understand? I don't think it was an unreasonable timing. You were definitely early, but GG goes next, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is just you misreading the situation. I think this is where you need to be, like, for example, like you're down your Cassidy here. So please don't blink N here to shoot when you have no recall, and that's your last blink, right? Just if anything, you could be like, "Hey, remember me, guys? Look at me," you know, and then blink back and kind of hover back here and save your blinks and stuff. But yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it just goes to show the value of cover, the fact that you lived as long as you did, right? And look sorry, guys. I can't believe this, man. I can't believe it. That's crazy. But hey, you know what?
Overwatch for ya.
It goes to show, like, that's even with horrific resource management, the value of cover, and honestly, the value of at least using your blinks to dodge, right? Like, I mean, how long have you been back there, right? Like, years, right? So, good stuff. Now you're really going to have to think about how you're playing this here. So I think you could live and hold here. You're probably, I was going to say, they're probably going to be somebody going to walk close. So you could just kind of play here and shoot and pepper and shoot and pepper and shoot and pepper. If you stop being able to shoot anything and you have to deepen, where would you go? You got a couple of choices here. None of them feel great, but give me a couple of options. Yeah. Again, think about the anchor. Now, what's the next anchor, right?
Okay, so if I kind of want to get behind their Ana, and I remember doing this, so maybe like kind of where the throne for the queen is.
Yeah, so like kind of hang her on here. I mean, let's not lie, it's high risk, but yeah, there's cover there, so you got options. What's a more low risk option?
So
like, let's say that you squeeze the juice out of the orange, right? There's nothing left from this angle. You can't reach anything. What next?
Either high ground maybe or behind the Zarya.
Sure. High ground legitimately is probably not going to work. Given if, like, for example, if this can't shoot anything, then high ground's probably not going to shoot anything. Not with your character. Okay. But yeah, I think somewhere over here, probably. Somewhere over here, and then you can stage to backline from here. But this is fine for now. Like, even just shooting Zarya from here is fine. You see this? Like, you don't need to worry about target priority here. They're going to present themselves to you. And then notice that you triple blinked, but you kind of triple blinked to an anchor. I just want a little bit more discipline here. Like, I want full on, like, get to that corner, right? This still feels a little awkward.
Yeah.
That being said, I think that you didn't get punished for it, and you did blink relatively well to avoid damage, and so you should feel proud about this fight. Yeah, you did fine. You really did fine.
Okay.
It could have been better in terms of cleanly rotating to that cover instead of kind of hovering in the open. You should have gotten punished there, but it was still not a bad play. Prefer not to recall there. I think just blink and blink back to the Mega.
Okay. I think that was a thing where I was focused on calming that I was going to touch and not actually think about the execution of it.
Yeah, it's okay. That's all right. It happens. That happens. I mean, this is just like you didn't have enough resources to get to another anchor position because you touched. Honestly, mate, I know why you hit Diamond 5.
Okay.
This is not Platinum Tracer gameplay, at least not this particular game. You did a good job. You did a really good job with a lot of your setups. You did a really good job with avoiding damage. You were confronted with a couple of problems, okay? So let's talk about positioning. Positioning when angles feel awkward. Think about cover, short sightlines, solve the problem even if position isn't optimal, right? So I think there was some times late first attack. I think late second attack. I think early first defense at times and also early third defense at times where you're confronted with an awkward situation and you didn't really know what to do. Notice that when we're coaching your positioning, we're not really super hyper obsessed with like you choosing the perfect position all the time, nor are we super obsessed with like adjusting to the enemy composition. I think that's a bit overrated, and maybe even I've overrated that in my old coaching sessions. I think it's more about like, where is this fight starting? Where can I apply pressure? Because you could poke out a Sig, you could poke out a Diva, you could dive the Widow, you could dive the Moira. It doesn't matter. Do you have a short range off angle with cover? And that's the only really important thing that matters.
Okay.
And then beyond that, I love the practice with blinks around attention, dodging. Excellent work. Okay. Now let's think about adjusting. We'll call it anchor positions. when you want to dive, attack something further away. And this is the crucial thing, is like anchors are necessary when you are trying to access something far away. That's when you need 2 or 3 blinks to get to a new position, but you can't use 2 or 3 blinks to get there and then not have a blink to dodge. You need to get 2 or 3 blinks to get there, sit there, distract, and then use your blinks to dodge. Always, basically the TLDRs, I need to have cover, Stracer. I need to have cover. Not at all times, but when I've done my little dance, right? I've done my dance, I need to find a way back into cover. I mean, it applies to a lot of characters, a lot of flankers. I mean, it's Black Panther, right? Black Panther, you do the cycle, right? You throw the javelin, you do the dash, you throw the javelin, you do the dash, you know. If you don't get it, now what, right? You just stand there? No. You need cover. You get the CDs back and you do your cycle again. Tracer's very similar to that, all right? You need that anchor position. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Beyond that, pulses need work. Just practice. Can deliberately practice in ranked if you'd like. Give yourself something specific to work on. Staying calm, reading movement patterns, timing, etc. So don't just be like, I need to practice my pulse bombs. I mean, playing is going to do that. But be like, okay, every time I have pulse bomb, my priority is on setting up in a good position and then not worrying so much about everything else. Just kind of being like, take a deep breath, be calm. What do I need to be doing? Right? Do I need to come in slow? Do I need to kind of... One thing that might help you is practicing your 180 pulse bombs when you have people's attention. Because if you think about it, if you 180 through somebody, and not even necessarily 180 pulse bomb, like you have to do the blink pulse, right? But if you blink through somebody, what is their number one priority when you're behind them?
Moving their crosshair.
Moving their crosshair, right? Turning around. What is not their priority is strafing. You understand? So what you have is if you blink through somebody, you don't even need to pulse them right away. You could let them start the turn, actually get their crosshair on top of you, and then pulse. That might be something to practice a little bit. But honestly, to be honest with you, I didn't sit there for hours and study your pulse bomb misses. They didn't seem like bad ideas, but I think that might be something that you would put emphasis on, and just to see if there's any habits that you may have that you can improve on. Trigger discipline was something you can always improve on, but I don't think it was bad. Blinks for duels, being accurate and specific and deliberate about your thing, wasn't bad. I think one habit I saw was that sometimes you blinked in anticipation of somebody moving their crosshair before they even move their crosshair. So that might be something to keep in mind. So be really locked in on their hitbox, see what they do. But I think keep up the good work more so than anything else. Keep up the good work. And obviously this depends on whether Overwatch is going to be the game for you or not. But yeah, keep up the good work.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll see.
And hey, you know what? Worst case scenario, Winter Soldier, Black Panther, similar concepts, right? Hold your angles, do your cycle. Even Winter Soldier, right? You hold your angle, you shoot. You do not go for these crazy aggressive aggro things. Like you need to have like your anchor spot where you kind of do your cycle over and over and over again. But yeah, okay.